Good evening. In today's news, former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak was granted a discharge not amounting to an acquittal in his second SRC International case. Meanwhile, PKR's Rafizi Ramli has called for answers from the prosecution over the case's ongoing setbacks. A lawyer for the Sabah whistleblower has argued that the Whistleblower Protection Act belongs in the trash if MACC's interpretation of the law is accepted. Stay tuned to find out why. Former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak has been granted a discharge not amounting to an acquittal on 3 money laundering charges involving 27 million ringgit from SRC International. High Court Judge K Muniandy made the decision after allowing Najib's application for the DNAA. According to Bernama, in his ruling, Judge Muniandy noted that the case against Najib has been pending since 2019 without a single witness being called. He said instead it has been marked by persistent postponements, indicating that the prosecution is not prepared to proceed. The judge also noted that the charges relate to offences allegedly committed in 2014, and yet as of 2025, the case has still not proceeded to trial, a delay the court viewed with concern. He reportedly said that by virtue of these factors, the most appropriate order was for the court to discharge the accused without acquitting him, so that he is not burdened with the charges currently preferred against him. He added that the DNAA, which temporarily drops the charges, does not prejudice the prosecution as they may still proceed with the case once they are ready to do so. On February 3, 2019, Najib claimed trial to 3 counts of receiving 27 million ringgit in proceeds from unlawful activities. The charges were framed under Section 4(1)(a) of the Anti-Money Laundering, Anti-Terrorism Financing and Proceeds of Unlawful Activities Act 2001. Last week, Najib's lawyer Shafee Abdullah had argued that it was unjust to keep his client in limbo without a confirmed trial date, especially since the prosecution could not specify when they would be able to compile the exhibits from the earlier SRC trial. Meanwhile, Rafizi Ramli has called on the prosecution in the case to explain the delays in preparing the relevant documents. In a statement, Rafizi said he respects Najib's right to seek the discharge given the long wait since 2019 and the court's decision to allow it. However, he questioned why the prosecution had taken so long to prepare the necessary documents to proceed with the case. He pointed out that the case is related to SRC, for which Najib is serving a sentence after being convicted in the first case involving SRC. Rafizi said from his experience studying and exposing the 1MDB and SRC scandals previously, the misappropriation involving SRC had a much clearer money trail. He added that this weakness needs to be addressed by the prosecution. He stressed that many Malaysians don't want to see this case quietly shelved due to the failure of the prosecutors to prepare the necessary documentary evidence for court. Rafizi also called on the prosecution to confirm that the Attorney General's chambers will refile the charges promptly and ensure all documents are ready. When asked for comments on the decision, Najib's lawyer Shafee Abdullah said the former premier is very happy the number of cases he is facing has decreased. This is what Shafee said about the ruling.
Sebab perintah DNAA ini tidak akan prejudis pihak pendakwaan, malahan ia akan menegakkan keadilan sebab pihak yang kena tuduh tidak tertunggu-tunggu seperti dalam bahasa Inggeris dikatakan with a sword of Damocles hanging over the head. Okay, so he is for the moment free. His bail has also been discharged. The bailer has also been discharged. So as far as we are concerned, the DNAA at the moment removes the charge from his head, the 3 charges. He is happy simply because not too many cases are overhanging his head. And he has been asking for DNAA for some time. So finally, the judge realized that after going through the record, this is too long and for no good reason. So he's happy. Short answer is he's very happy. Okay, now he can concentrate on 1MDB alone.
A lawyer representing the whistleblower in the Sabah corruption scandal has slammed the MACC for denying legal protection to his client, despite clear provisions under the Whistleblower Protection Act. In a statement, lawyer Mahajot Singh hit out at MACC Chief Azam Baki and MACC Prosecution Director Wan Shaharuddin Wan Ladin. Mahajot said his his client clearly qualifies as a whistleblower under Section 2 of the Act, as he had made disclosures of improper conduct to an enforcement agency. He argued that MACC's claim that Section 11(1) of the Act does not accord protection is a fundamental misreading of the law. Section 11, he explained, deals with revoking protection, not granting it. He questioned, how can protection be revoked under Section 11 if it was never granted to begin with? Majoth also pointed out that Section 11 of the Act was also discretionary in nature, where MACC can make a judgment call and it is not automatic. He said there is also nothing in the law that mandates the prosecution of a whistleblower. Majoth called the agency's decision legally questionable and damaging, warning it sends the wrong message to Malaysians who might expose corruption. Instead, he added the act was designed to foster a safe environment for whistleblowers to come forward and disclose improper conduct to a law enforcement agency. He said if MACC's interpretation is accepted, then the act belongs in one place and one place only, the bin. The Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah, has expressed disappointment and regret over part of the federal court's ruling in favor of rights group sisters in Islam. In a post on the Selangor Royal Office Facebook page, the ruler expressed his agreement with a statement issued by the Selangor Islamic Religious Council regarding the court decision. His Royal Highness stressed that the misuse of the word Islam in the name and publications of SIS Forum could cause confusion among the Muslim community, read the post. Following this, the Sultan of Selangor urged the NGO to cease using the term Sisters in Islam in its publications so that the word Islam is not arbitrarily used for the benefit and interests of that organization. Yesterday, the federal court ruled that the Selangor religious authorities were wrong to issue a fatwa declaring SIS as deviant and contrary to Islamic teachings. In a 3-1 majority decision, the panel of 4 judges, chaired by Chief Justice Tengku Maimun Tuan Mat, allowed the women's rights groups appeal to set aside the appellate court and high court decisions on the 2014 fatwa. The court stated that the federal constitution only gives power to the authorities over persons professing the religion of Islam, not companies. However, part of the fatwa was upheld with the court ruling that it was within the Selangor religious authorities' purview to issue the fatwa declaring any individual who subscribed to liberalism and religious pluralism as deviant and contrary to Islamic teachings. SIS had appealed to obtain an order from the federal court to challenge the fatwa issued 11 years ago, labeling it as deviant and misguided. Special Branch Director Khalid Ismail has been appointed as Malaysia's new Inspector General of Police. He will be replacing Razarudin Hussain, whose contract as IGP expires this Sunday. The appointment was confirmed by Home Minister Saifuddin Nasution. Saifuddin said that the Yang di-Pertuan Agong has consented to Khalid's appointment for a 2-year term, starting June 23, 2025 and running until June 22, 2027. He said Khalid's extensive experience and leadership make him well suited to lead the Royal Malaysia Police. A duty handover ceremony was held at the Kuala Lumpur Police Training Centre this afternoon to mark the transition of leadership. Khalid, born on April 8, 1965, started his police career in 1987 as an officer in the Intelligence Division. Over the years, he steadily rose through the ranks, and in April 2023, he was appointed Director of the Special Branch. Earlier this year, Khalid reached the mandatory retirement age of 60, but his service was extended on a contract basis. If you like the stories we produce, consider supporting us by subscribing to Malaysia Kini. Click the link in the description below or scan the QR code on your screen to subscribe. US President Donald Trump has approved the attack plans for Iran, but will make a decision on whether to initiate a strike within 2 weeks. This is according to reports, which quoted White House spokeswoman Karoline Leavitt. Trump reportedly said that based on the facts that there is a substantial change of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, he will make his decision within the next 2 weeks. According to Bernama, Leavitt had also confirmed that correspondence between the United States and Tehran is ongoing amid the conflict, which began when Israel launched strikes on Tehran last Friday. Meanwhile, the BBC quoted Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister Saeed Khatibzadeh cautioning that if the US entered the fray, it will cause hell for the whole region. He reminded Trump that the current conflict is not America's war, and if the US chose to strike Iran, the president will always be remembered as entering a war he doesn't belong in. Commenting on Trump's repeated claims that the conflict could have been avoided if Iran had accepted a nuclear deal, Khatibzadeh blamed Israel. He said Tehran was in the process of negotiations and were actually on the verge of reaching an agreement until Israel sabotaged it by launching attacks. Yesterday, UMNO Supreme Council member Puan Zarkashi suggested that former UMNO leaders such as Khairi Jamaluddin, Shakil Hamdan and PKR MP Rafizi Ramli and others should form a new party. We carried out a poll to find out what the public thought of the idea and whether the leaders would be able to unite under one party. This was the response. 39% of voters felt that it would be difficult as all of the names mentioned by Puan were strong leaders that wouldn't take a lesser position. 30% thought it would be a good idea and could lead it to be the third voice that Malaysia needs. Voters said all politicians are the same and people were tired of them. Several said there was too many parties with politicians just after power and not caring about the people's problems. Meanwhile, one voter expected the leaders to remain with their respective parties even without any positions. What are your thoughts about this? Join the discussion and share your views in the comment section below. Before we go, let's take a look at some of the other headlines from today. That is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, X, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm Camelia. Thanks for watching.